Jones. You're watching Impacting Lives with Pastor Caron Jones and the Rejoice in the Word Church Ministry.
See, you got to believe something. If you don't believe something or see something or trust God in anything, you will never get nothing. Caleb had a mentality that God needed. God need people with this mentality. Complained, but the people lived there, they were powerful. The cities were fortified, they were large. What I learned though, and what the Israelites had to learn, is that God uses the wilderness to train his people, to test them and to grow them. He uses the wilderness to train you, to test you, and to grow you. Because they were in the wilderness and what they saw, they felt they didn't have the ability. But what he was doing was he was putting them to a growing process to build their faith in him. Times in our lives, you got to know that you got to trust God even when it's quite doesn't make any kind of sense. See, they put their senses together. And when they looked at it, it didn't make sense. Because their natural human flesh said, it is impossible for us to possess Canaan. Because they're more powerful than us. They're more bigger than us. And they took that condition and made it bigger than God. How many times we take our condition and make it bigger than God because of what we saw? So you just need one. Didn't make sense. Don't change what God tell you because it doesn't make sense. Don't stop your vision because it doesn't make sense. Don't stop doing what God promised you because you're in the journey by yourself. Don't change because folks acting funny, because folks will be nice to you today and tomorrow they're not nice to you because they serve you according to their feelings and their emotions. They want to be bothered with you one day and next day they don't want to be bothered with you. They want to serve you when it's convenient or not when you're on their time but in their own time. But stick with it because it works. You're serving God. You're not serving people. This commission came from God to a people. A vision is from God to a people. Let me say it again. A vision is from God to a people. Don't quit because you got mumblers and complainers around you. Keep it moving. Let me say it again. Keep it moving. Let me say it again. Keep it moving. And sometimes you got to keep it moving, no matter what it look like. Because what are you saying, Pastor? Altogether, what I'm really saying is, we all here, we all following Christ. But not everybody is mature. See, because a mature follower of Christ is someone who trusts God, who walk in the obedience even when it doesn't quite make sense. We're talking about the mature follower. Caleb stood up and said, I'm the mature follower. I heard what you said. You said, possess the land and don't care what I see. You got to be careful when God tell you something, when you deal with other reports. Bad reports are distraction. It is to cause you to throw the towel in and to quit. It is cause you to mess with your faith. That's why I would never marry anybody that ain't saved. I could be a problem by myself. I ain't going to sit there fight no man to follow Christ. The devil is a liar. The Bible said when 2 or 3 are gathered together, he'll be in the midst. Sometimes he's not even in the house or in the marriage because show up because there's no agreement. Won't do it. Won't achieve a headache. Because people grumble in life because we can't trust God. We can't trust God when we are grumbling about life and circumstances. Everything is, I don't see it. So what you doing? I don't understand it. So what you doing? You don't make no kind of sense. What we doing? What we doing? That you became the Israelites. Like the 12 spies that he sent out. They big. What you doing? We ain't got enough. What you doing? Well, we can't eat. What you doing? You ain't God. You ain't got to know. All you got to do is trust him. It's for mature followers. Because the Bible declared that a good man's footstep is ordered by the Lord. Just one thinking can interrupt your future. One setback, you can work on a lifetime trying to come back because of wrong thought. This is what happened to them. That one setback had them killed off, picked up a few, and kept on going. And they were wandering because of one setback. Unless you know that God settled it, stop grumbling and complaining. There's one thing you got to always believe. Trust will always overcome fear. Let me say it again. Trust will always overcome fear. There's two kinds of fear. The Bible said the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. We ought to fear God to gain the wisdom of God. But we're not ought to fear with our faith. We ought to not fear with our beliefs. This is what they did. They feared after God told them what they were going to do. And one stood up and said, no way. God will call you. Let me say it again. God will call you to do things at times that does not make sense because your vision is limited. When your vision is limited, it does not make sense. Don't blame God for the limited vision. The Bible said that my people are destroyed because of lack of knowledge. Why is there lack of knowledge? Because the vision is limited. You only achieve what you conceive, but you got to live beyond what you see. You got to understand that what God said, it's already settled in heaven. If God said he's going to get you a house, it's settled. If God said he's going to get you a better job, it's settled. If God said he's going to bring you happiness, it's settled. Whatever God said, it's settled. Don't blame God for your limitation. Above all things, believe him for the impossible. My limitation, Pastor, caused me to settle. And when you settle, you become bitter and angry. You become nasty with the world because you begin to box God in. And that's what happened to the Israelites. They limited themselves and they got angry and they said to themselves, we need another king because Moses doesn't seem to be working out right. God said to them, they said, take us up there. And then Moses said, you shouldn't do that. And the Israelites said, yes, we should. We want to go. And when they went, they died off. Because everything is set as appointed time. The Bible said there's a season for everything. Everything, there's a season that's under the sun. There's a time to laugh. There's a time to die. There's a time to cry. There's a time to withhold. There's a time to give. Everything is done under the season. And at that point in time, the Israelites had a season to accomplish what God told them. He says, go and possess the land. That's why you got to be careful who you make your surrounding, because if you don't have the right people surrounding you, you'll never go anywhere in life. If you're looking for their validation to accept you, that's what I love about me in this church. I don't care what they tell me. Pastor, you should do it this way. Pastor, you should do it. No, I'm doing it. God way. I may have to lose you, but I'm doing it God way. I'm going to be like Caleb. Oh, Pastor, you crazy. Why are we going to be on land with 150 people, 200 people, and sometimes 300 people? Because God said that we're going to a land that's flowing with milk and honey. Pastor, you're crazy and you're ridiculous. Why are you taking us to a land that we've never been before? Why are you introducing us to a building that big with 2 kitchens and a sanctuary that huge? We're not used to that kind of stuff. And then you introduce it and then you want us to stretch. If you don't stretch, you don't know how far you can go. Nothing is given to you overnight. Some things you got to work on it and build it and stretch it and refine it and shape it and do things to it that God needs to be done. But one thing I found out that some started with you, but everybody started with you is not going with you. They started with Moses, but everybody didn't go to the promised land. They started on the journey with one mind and one concept. They were on the journey when they wanted to be free, but after they got free, they forgot about the journey. You've got to be careful for things that you've been bound by and things that have been perplexed in your life, and then God allowed you to get free, and then now and then you forgot his instruction. You needed his instruction to get free, but you didn't need his instruction to stay right. We've got to be careful when we're free. We got to be careful when God do a thing and then we forget. The Israelites started to act much. They started acting funny. But I love about Caleb. Caleb said to himself, I'm not going to be persuaded on what I see. I'm not going to be persuaded on what I hear. I know that whatever God said, he's already settled it. I don't care if the Jebusites, the Ammonites is there. God on me. That's a oneness that the world cannot see. God got dismantled. God knew how. If he brought us out of the Red Sea when we couldn't see our way, and he made a way of escape. If he done it before, he'll do it again. If he saved it last time, he'll save us this time. They rebellious, stiff-necked, hard-headed people watching everything, complaining about everything, not being settled for what God done. They was even moved by the grapes they bought and presented to Moses, but that was not enough. They wanted more. Be careful when you beg God for things. When it's not your time to receive it, you're pushing God. You're driving him crazy night and night, telling him to kiss your tail, telling him he ain't moving fast enough, telling him, God, I've been good, but you haven't. Oh my God, the Israelite found out that it was nobody but God. They found out that Jesus was the one. Jesus was the one that crossed the Red Sea. Jesus was the one that pulled them out the miry clay. In our lives, we've got to understand nobody done it for you but God. Turn back, give him glory. Turn back, give him praise. Turn back, give him a thank you. But I don't feel like thanking him, Pastor. Is that all less inside of you? You got some residue left. I don't want to hear no kind of story. I want to know what you